He wanted me to go up there, but horses didn't like me and I didn't like them that much, so I didn't go.
I believe that Mick Hobden's been accredited with the fact of finding Rythe Road in Claygate.
Oh, no, I'd have to dispute that one.
He didn't.
Unless he came with me.
Who?
But I'm pretty sure was the major instigator of that one. But I'll stand corrected though, of course, and I won't lose any sleep over it.
But you're saying
no,
to
I
the
remember
contrary.
getting togged up in a suit and having this wonderful spiel that I put over, and as you can remember those, Ronnie, got
do.
us through the shit a few times. And and yeah, I got that place, and then the other 600 people moved in.
All the other Pakistanis.
That's the one.
Yeah, the four boys went out to Claygate, and you managed to secure yourself a job at the Swan, I would imagine, on top of other work that you had.
Yeah, I think I worked at the garage. Well, I think one of my first jobs was at the garage down near Hampton Court Palace.
Yeah.
Where we used to do grease and oil changes quite often.
Graham,
Sorry.
Kingy, Graham said that...
We didn't actually change the oil, we took it out and put it back in. I think it was that was Kingy working there with me, I think, man.
Yeah, well, he said that, I think he said he got the job first and then passed it over to you, or was that the other way around?
At the garage?
Yeah.
Don't know. Either way, I'm happy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I know I worked there for some time, and that was it, but yeah, I did my apprenticeship on that too with a bloke called Michael Hawkins, who was, no, that was after. Yeah, anyway, that's another thought I was just having.
In time, we managed to come out and stay with you as well, being Graham, John Solder and myself, and Jeff Danick. We came out to Claygate and bunked in there through your generosity. Something that's coming out of this, Greg, with all these boys in England, no one was left out. If you arrived and you came from Australia and we, in particular Tasmania, you're welcomed and you were helped. I feel that was happening between us.
Yeah, no, that was for sure. Unless you turned into an arsehole and then you were evicted.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's how it works.
Well, we won't mention any names, Ronnie, will we?
No, we don't mention any names, no. But, okay, so...
So those that were evicted will know who we're talking about. And those that we wanted to evict couldn't quite get over the line, know who we're talking about as well. But anyway, we've all survived.
Hey, Greg, now, Graham King, Graham has gone to Newmarket, Pistols in the Newmarket, Mick Hobden's in security, you're down at the Swan. I've got no idea where I was. I think I was in the diving, or I was in...
You were in the diving business, right?
I think, and I was also in the Lions Maid and Flinders and all the those driving trucks, etc.
Yeah.
And then somehow
Yeah,
another...
don't forget the ice cream.
Of course, yeah, Mr. Whippy.
Yeah.
And so...
You were a Mr. Whippy man, weren't you?
I was.
And Salter did his apprenticeship there too.
He did indeed.
Hey, there's one thing though that you have to remember on him. Remember how Salter? I remember him teaching you how to water down the ice cream, and so that you were robbing from the kids.
Yes, I
to
do.
line your own pocket. Salter was the expert at that. Remember?
I do remember. Well,
and he furthered his career on that when he used to distribute our chocolate when we were starving to death in the Scandinavian countries, and we were allocated 1 cubit a day.
John, on
They
that.
tell me he's pretty thrifty.
Oh yeah, yes he
He's
was.
not well and truly looked after today. He's not living in this airline situation.
He's maintained that skill.
That's the guy.
You and Pistol, he must have come back from Newmarket, and you got together, and then you had some motorbikes, and then you were off to Europe.
Yep.
And,
every time we saved a few bucks up, we used to take off.
Yeah, and how long were you over in Europe on the motorbike?
Ronnie, I can't remember, mate.
Yeah. Did you go through
It
to
wasn't
Germany?
that long. I think it was might have only been a month or two.
Greg, did you go to Germany, Spain, France? Where did you go?
Yeah, we got off the boat somewhere, and then we went south. And I remember going over the Pyrenees into Portugal, Spain, Madrid. San Sebastian was one of my favourite places.
Yeah, fantastic.
San Moroni.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went down there, Madrid, Barcelona, and up the Spanish coast. What was that called?
yeah.
Costa del Sol or something like that.
Yeah,
And then we went along the French Riviera,
yeah.
and then I think we went down. Yeah, we were definitely in Italy, because that's where I came off my motorbike
Oh, you
again.
you came off your motorbike. Okay. Did you get badly hurt?
Nah, not too bad. Just wasn't my fault again. Some idiot ran into me, and that was the night that some kind Italian fella. I don't know if his wife was Aussie or the other way around, but anyway, they picked us up and said, "Look, you can stay in our place," and we slept in his garage that night, or for 2 nights.
Okay.
And that's one of those pictures. One of those pictures you've had.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd fallen off your bike there.
Oh, that's right. And then we went further north, and went up to see the fellow that was on our ship going over there.
Yep.
Gino Paluti. How's that for a memory, Ronald?
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
the other guy that was in our cabin called Frank somebody or other, he got killed. If you have a look, in the couple of years after we actually arrived there, or a year after, there was a dam burst somewhere in northern Italy, and Frank got killed in that.
That's
And we had a big Maltese guy there
Oh,
on the boat with us too, who unfortunately caught a massive dose of everything known to man in Singapore. So we're a little bit cautious then, because in those days we thought it used to jump 6 foot.
yeah. I
So we went up to Pordenone, where Gino lived, and we were pulled up on an intersection. And this is no bull. He didn't know we were coming. We pulled up on this intersection. We were sitting on our bikes. We'd ridden all day flat strap, and this wedding was coming up the road. You know how they do it in those days. We're walking up the street, and it was his wedding. So anyway, we spent another couple of nights there. I think there's some memory of us being treated like gods, and I'm not sure if Pistol and I slept in the wedding bed or something like that. There was something along those lines. Hope you're not still hurting, Piss, if you're listening to this. Anyway, yeah, we got treated pretty well, and then we took off, headed back to England. I'm not sure exactly which route, but probably back through Germany, and
So
it was a good ride.
it sounds like it. Well, no, just move you're back in town. You and Pistol moved somewhere into Surbiton. Somehow or another, somewhere along here, myself, John Solder, and Pistol are in my little car, and we go off to Europe.
That's right.
Yeah, somewhere there. Now, we hopped in the vehicle, over in the boat, arrived in Belgium, I think it was, and at the border, we were asked about papers.
That's a bit off. Wonder why they asked us that.
Have you got papers?
Yeah.
And we said, what papers? And but anyway, we managed to get through that particular section, so therefore we accrued more papers, and when we come to each border, we'd say, you want papers? Here they are.
Take the lot.
Yeah, take the lot. And of course, when we went into Germany,
Went through East Germany into West
Germany, when we went through
Berlin.
when we went through the East, they wanted papers, but their papers were unbelievably, they were embossed. And
We have our own embossing machine on it. That's unusual.
yes, a time for us, wasn't it? We had a little accident in Gothenburg.
Did we what?
Yeah.
Do you remember that is this important stuff? That, you know, that was our first introduction to pornographic material that day. Do you remember that you and I were in the tramways or the busways trying to negotiate how much we were going to get for our car that had been just about written off?
Yeah.
And we were told to piss off out of it. some language or other. Then we got downstairs, couldn't find the boys until somebody's head poked out a door and waved us madly up the street, and we went into our first shop where there was all that porno stuff, which was only pictures of naked ladies, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't.
Because we hadn't seen any of that stuff before that.
Well, women.
So we spent the rest of the day there, I think, and and we bought a bit of reference material.
Yeah, well, we went to where did we go after? What was that ship? I can't remember the name of the ship that we stayed on.
Yeah, in the harbour in
Stockholm.
Yeah, it was.
And we there's a photograph of us.
Probably still there.
Big Windjammer, an old ship from.
Well, it should. In amongst those pictures, I'd be surprised if there's not one with the name of the boat on it.
Yeah.
But I remember a picture from the other day with us looking through a porthole or something.
Yeah.
And that was that ship.
That was a fantastic photograph of you. And there's a photograph of us in our pajamas on the bunks, and that was that particular spot. Well, when we arrived back, we drew on your hospitality, you and Peter's hospitality.
It's unusual, right?
Yeah, and extra guys with us, a consortium of fellows, an entourage. That's what I was trying to think of, an entourage of Americans and Canadians, and you allowed us to stay a little bit of time in your place, but then there was a suspicious or a letter in the letterbox suggesting that if we don't kind of get rid of a few people, you'll be evicted.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, it was. And
now you've reminded me. I think that I wrote that.
Yeah, the leaseholder, and that you have to go. Yeah. So on the quiet.
And there was no bloodshed, and everything
nothing.
was good.
Get out. There's the door. There's the door. Use it.
Yeah.
But
so the Yanks left and you snuck back again.
No, you evicted a lot of us, to be fair. And on the way out, you said, "Ron, I'll see you around the corner."
Fair enough.
So that was that. And then life went on, and somehow or another.
Which place was that? What address was that?
It was in Surbiton, put it that way. And I just can't remember. I know it was just you and Piss were together.
I know that address was where I had my 21st birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, because my mother sent this bloody great big cake in a box from Tasmania to England.
Did she really?
Yeah, and I don't know what it was actually made of, because it's probably been on a ship for about a month, and we still ate it.
As you would. While you're on Europe and you're coming from Naples through to England, did you eat in restaurants or did you?
Oh, shit, no. No, not in a million years.
Yeah.
My vivid memories was of me being sent into orchards to pinch fruit. And where else we ate, wouldn't have a clue, mate. I reckon we were cooked on the side of the road most of the time, but we didn't have any money to do that sort of stuff.
I know.
So no, I don't really remember that. Do the other boys remember much about that?
I'm going to stream.
Ace might have been in the restaurants. Piss and I would have been waiting outside.
Yeah, well, we come from an extreme situation of not being hungry, always having a home to go to, somewhere to sleep, something to eat, to just simply fend for yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on, mate. Yeah, no, we survived, mate. Somehow or other we had enough tucker.
Yeah. Greg.
I should go back on one of those diets now, come to think of it.
Greg, there's a situation where you and I have come together. I must be working for the diving place because getting the place. We've been somewhere, you and I, I remember it was freezing cold, snowing, and we were on the steps to negotiate with Mrs. Gosling about this particular place that we wanted to rent. And we ended up...
Well, I'll never forget that one, Ronald.
We were on the floor, fighting. Not fighting. Yeah. I was saying to you, Greg, hang on, trying to restrain you from knocking on the door because we had to get the story straight.
We had to get our lines right, yeah.
And then we were wrestling around. You're wanting to knock on the door, bang, and I'm trying to hold you back. And next you know, we're on the ground.
And Gozzleguts opened the door.
She's only about 4 feet, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was a little woman in a big fur coat.
Yeah, I remember that.
We lived there.
I think we told her a crock of shit. It took us about 10 minutes, and at the end of it all, she told us she'd never had such a crock in all her life, and And did we have any money? And there's the key.
That was it. She said, that's right, because we told her a lot of lies and somehow or another she checked up on me or something.
I think it
Anyway,
was all more to do with our employment. Where we
yeah,
worked.
yeah, very true. Greg,
Doing degrees in medicine and stuff like that.
we lived there, and somewhere along the line, you had met um, uh,
Patrice.
Patricia, and we were stalking a lot of women at the time,
Yeah, Ronnie.
and
You taught me how to do that.
and anyway, we managed to corner Trish, and you
No, I met her. I started work down at Matthew Wrightson then
ah
because I decided I was going back home and I needed to get a decent job, and everybody was in the computer game, and at least Kingy was.
yeah,
And I think Sultan wanted to be or something. And
that's right.
anyway, I thought I better get a job as a computer operator because I wasn't smart enough to be a programmer. And yeah, that's when I got the job in the mail room at Matthew Wrightson when I went down to apply for the job as a computer operator, and they said, we don't employ Australians. And I said, so what about the job in the mail room? Can I get that one? Which I did, and about 6 months later I was working in the computer room. Selling yourself, Ronnie, more than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? All right, so
Yeah.
the marriage to you end up marrying Patricia, and there was a Kingy was your best man.
Yeah, you bolted, I think.
Because I was at the wedding.
You were? Where?
Of course I was.
Maybe you weren't as articulate as you are now, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
that's why you missed out.
living together, and you must have then moved in with Patricia and Ollie.
Oh, not. Well, I stayed there a fair bit. I know that. I used to get fed properly. That's why.
Yeah, and I must have then. I think I moved to Berylins or some place like that, or with John Salter or something. I think that's what happened, Greg. At that point,
You might have gone home or not?
no,
Because I was the
still there.
longest stayer, I think, wasn't I?
I was still there. No, I was still there in Berylins. I remember I ended up in that area. Um, your visit to England. Could you sum it up? Was it worthwhile? Was it a
Best experience ever, Ronnie, and I still think about a lot of those activities and the way that we survived more than anything. And that's why I use some of those theories even today when I'm talking to young kids about how to get off your bum and, make a quid and don't expect to have a handout on all that sort of chat. But no, it was great. I think we grew up pretty quickly.
yeah?
And the fact that we were there at that time of our lives, I think was really bloody good because you wouldn't want to be there now, mate, I can tell you.
No, exactly. Yeah,
I don't want to be.
yeah. And you're returning to Australia, Greg. Happy to be home.
Yeah. I had trouble getting the job though. I had to go to Perth first because I was waiting until I could get a job as a computer operator, and of course they were those huge mainframes. I think there was one with the government in Hobart,
Yeah,
and I wasn't too worried about whether I got back to Hobart in a hurry.
yeah.
And so I went to Perth first. I was 6 months over there,
Oh, fantastic, Greg.
and then back to Tassie after that. And then life went on from there. I had kids turning up and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
sorts of things. Yeah.
Greg, friendship with Pistol, with Buzz, and Mick Hobden. Those
And you, Ronnie.
and yes. I'm just trying to think of other words of wisdom I want to get from you.
No, you won't get much wisdom out of me, man. It's just that, you said it, those friendships are made and cemented when we were young guys, and the ones of us that are stuck together, we've had a ball,
Yeah,
and we're still
fantastic.
good mates.
Just,
Especially you and me, Ronnie.
yeah, no, yeah, we've all our friendship was fantastic, Greg, and
We kicked a few goals in Melbourne, even
yeah,
through a few years too over there.
we did indeed. Greg, just a last little bit, please, Greg. When Pistol returned back to Australia, you came back on a boat, I'd imagine, as I did. But Pistol,
No, I flew back.
did you?
Yep.
You flew back?
Did I ever, mate? I had the entourage in tow.
Yeah.
I had Patricia Olive, Sarah Elizabeth Slattery,
Yeah.
and Olive Slattery,
Yeah.
because that was the condition. Trish was only coming to Australia if the mother could come.
Is Trisha the only girl, or did she have a brother?
Yep.
Is,
Yeah,
is
she's got a brother.
Pistol, when he came back, Greg, and as you know, and I didn't know, he came back with 7 racehorses on on one of those freighters.
Yeah, that's right.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was his free trip home. He was pretty pleased about that.
He's very the final product.
Good on you, Ronald. You're a legend, son.
Talk to you later, Gregory.
Great to have you, fun, Ronnie. See you, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll send it